p.m. We respectfully acknowledge that we're on the land of the traditional territory of the Shweknik people. I will practice that. Approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Bob, Councillor Evans, Councillor Bushel, all in favor? Okay, passed. Adoption of the minutes. The minutes of the regular council meeting held May 14th, 2025 be adopted. I'm a mover. Councillor McCabe, Mary Anderson, all in favor? Okay, that's passed. Alrighty, no in-camera, no public and statutory hearings, no delegation, so bylaws and policies. Okay, recommendation that the officer establishment and delegation bylaw number 1083 be adopted this 28th day of May 2025. A mover, Councillor Bushel, Councillor Evans. Any discussion on this item? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? All right, that's passed. B, public wharf regulation number 1066. This is adoption as well. Recommendation that the District of Sicamous Public Wharf Regulation Bylaw number 1066 adopted this 28th day of May 2025. Councillor Evans, Councillor Bushel, any discussion on this item? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? Adopted. Okay, now we're on to a very exciting topic here. Inter-community business license amendment bylaw number 1097. And that's Nicole.
Thank you through the chair. I think Bianca, you'll just pull up a couple slides.
You have slides on
And they might be out of order.
Oh.
Yeah, if you don't mind going down a few. Yeah, you passed it.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, 1 second, I'm just gonna have to share.
Okay. Well, I figured I'd do a little bit on this because we probably don't see the inter-community business license bylaw very often. So we have one. It's existing for the District of Sicamous. And it establishes authorized participating municipalities to permit businesses like across the participating communities. And so it just minimizes the need to obtain a separate municipal business license in each jurisdiction. So in the proposal, we're going to be replacing the Schedule A, which is a list of excluded businesses. So people who can't get an inter-community business license. And then we're going to update the current list of participating communities. I don't know if this bylaw has ever been amended since it was adopted, and there's been a few more communities who've been added. So the Schedule A that is being amended, it's the same for every municipality. And so District of Sicamous is proposing this be adopted, and other communities already have adopted the revised Schedule A. And our goal was to get everyone in the same page by the fall. So excluded businesses, so people who can't get a inter-community business license, we've got 3 already listed in the bylaw. And then the new one is boat rental companies. And I know when I say that, it might be concerning because there's a lot of boating activity in Sicamous. So boat rental companies can still get a business license from Sicamous. And when they do that, we would ensure that they have a proper parking stall, like not at the public wharf. And if it is at the public wharf, we would give permission for that. And so that's the reason why boat rental companies are being excluded from inter-community business license. Another example I can give is if someone got a license in Salmon Arm and they mostly do business here, we want to make sure that they have a proper spot that's not a public wharf where they don't have permission. So the 3 existing ones are already in our Schedule A, and we're adding boat rental companies as being excluded. And then this is a list of the participating municipalities. I think we were short a few. So this is the list that we would be replacing. That's it.
Okay, questions? Councillor Bushel.
The chair, Nicole, I was just wondering, like this, I noticed that the CSRD and the North Okanagan Regional District aren't on here. Is there a reason why they didn't participate?
We got through the chair. So we recently had an inter-community business license meeting. That's where all the communities join with the province and talk about just topics in the intercommunity business license world. And our latest topic was inviting more regional districts to join. We don't know if they're interested. And when the community met, we felt like it would be appropriate if they did want to join. So right now the province is going to connect with those municipalities or regional districts and see if they're interested in joining. So they might. I don't know why they aren't on there now. And yeah.
Okay, so for the CSRD, you don't currently have a business license program, so you don't have to get a business license within the CSRD. So we do have a lot of businesses, like for example, Malaqua, if you're based out of Malaqua, but you do the business in Sycamoose, this is where you get your license then. So you'd get an intercommunity and regular business license through us. So that's what that situation is currently.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And just one other one, I thought about, one of the ones that we have a lot of people apply for is mobile vending or mobile, like food trucks and stuff like that. Those aren't included in the exempt policy.
Yeah, through the chair. Yeah, mobile vendors like a food truck are not eligible for intercommunity business licenses. Yeah, they have to get their own license from each community that they do business in.
Thank you.
That was gonna be one of my questions is, so what's the benefit of this? I mean, obviously, there's a revenue aspect to business licenses that we obtain from. Why? What is the idea behind this, and is there any kind of financial implications attached to it?
You want to answer?
I can,
So I guess it's a two-part question, why and then finance on it.
so the biggest benefit is for our businesses based out of here that want to do business in other communities. So if you're an electrician based out of Sycamoose, you can go and do your work in Salmon Arm and not have to get a different license when you're there. So it makes it so our businesses, so really, the fundamental piece is you're supposed to get a license where you live or where you're closest to. So Malaqua would come here, you know, that sort of thing. That's where your base is. That's where you pay your regular license, and your intercommunity license is where you're based. And then this just allows it that, you know, it's kind of like, you know, free trade amongst provinces kind of thing.
Right.
You can do work wherever you're at.
Through the chair, I think maybe I could add that. So it's the same rate across all the communities. It's $150 for intercommunity business license. And I think we did a little search just to see where we're sitting at currently. And I think we had about 60 intercommunity business licenses from Sycamoose.
Then maybe just a question about it, then do you share the revenue from it, or is it, if you apply in Sycamoose keeps okay, correct. Okay, any further questions, discussions? Okay, do we have a mover and seconder?
No, we do not.
No, so I need a mover, so Counselor Evans, Counselor McCabe, any further discussion? Sorry, Colleen, I don't know, did you have anything or you're good? Okay, all right, let's call the question. All in favor? And that passes. Anybody opposed? Colleen support, perfect. Okay, moving on. Okay, ticketing information utilization amendment bylaw number 1106. The best title. It's anyways, can I have a mover for this? Is the recommendation that the District of Sycamoose ticketing information utilization amendment bylaw number 1008 be given first, second, and third reading this 28th day of May. Councillor Evans, Councillor Bushel, okay, take it away, Compton.
All right, I get the really exciting privilege of presenting on this complicated named bylaw today. So just starting with the purpose of this bylaw, ticketing information utilization bylaw establishes the fines that are associated with bylaw enforcement within the District of Sycamoose. So this is the bylaw that actually allows us to impose fines on people who are violating our bylaws. This amendment that we're bringing forward today is to bring Schedule 14 into alignment with the public wharf regulation bylaw that we just adopted earlier tonight. And that's pretty much all it is, just making sure that that bylaw is in line with what we've set out in our public wharf regulation bylaw so that we're ready to go for the summer.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from council? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? And that passes. Okay, so we're now to staff reports. I think Jamie might not have thought that we would, oh, there you are, perfect. Yeah, we're going fast tonight, so yeah, Jamie, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here today seeking council endorsement for the recommendations to close the main street for our Canada Day celebration. So you'll see up on the map here, we've done some revising. We've gone back and forth, probably about 10 times trying to come up with the best scenario for our Canada Day. Of course, with the healthcare center being a little bit behind, it kind of disrupted our plans. But after spending some time out on site last night, I think that we've come up with a pretty cohesive plan that we think will make everybody happy when it comes to our event. So the two red lines that you see running north and south, that is where we will close the street. The little blue highlighted boxes there, that is where we're going to bring back our road hockey tournament. After 2 years of hiatus, this is something that every single year I get phone calls, people begging, please bring back the road hockey tournament. The last 2 years, we've done an evening event at Beach Park, and we found that the numbers weren't there. And what we found is that when we were having our events on Main Street on Canada Day, it supported us moving this event back to Canada Day, which is why we made the change for this year. You'll see in the little bubble there, it says Beverage Gardens. This has always been traditionally run by our grill rig the past couple of years as a fundraiser for them. So they will put their Beverage Gardens across the way, what was formerly known as 200 Main Street. It will be underneath the trees, lots of shade for folks. The stage will go for probably gone where we have power, everything all set up in the far corner. That will be set up facing east, so the music will be projected down the main street. So those play road hockey, those that are sitting on the street, that sort of thing, they can dance, they can have a good time. And the vacant lot across the way, that is where we will set up our kids zone and our bounce houses. We will also, in that little green box, should have looked at colors a bit better, my apologies. That will be our family games area. So this is where we're bringing in the big block Jenga, the yard yachts games, the Tetris games. I'm researching right now, like big, large Candyland, snakes and ladders. So basically a big area for kids. We'll have our bubble machine out there and sidewalk chalk for the kids or face painters. So making it a true traditional block party for Canada Day. So all of that street closure will be closed from 8 o'clock or probably 7 o'clock in the morning until at the absolute latest 5 o'clock in the afternoon. My proposal is to have the road hockey done by 4 o'clock. Then we can close down the street, move everything off the street, allow the entertainment of the stage and the beverage gardens to continue across the way. Our event finishes at 6 p.m. because we'll hand out medals, do other prizes. From 6 p.m. then ECDEV is taking over the stage. They're bringing in a Van Halen tribute band called Howl at the Temple, if I remember correctly. And they will continue the band until 8:30. Then we will usher everyone down to the beach park for our, what we're known for, is our fireworks. So I'm just looking today for endorsement from council to close the street for that particular reason.
Okay, questions, council? Oh, I see Mayor Anderson. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. I'm Jamie, just a couple of quick questions. Okay, so we've got 2 car shows coming up and we're closing Main Street for those 2 days. And you have checked with the businesses downtown to close the street for Canada Day as well?
Letters have gone out, yes. It has come to my attention that not all the letters reach the business owners. So that will be something that we will go at, we will change and set up better for next year. However, at speaking to the 2 local car shows, they've assured me that the roads will be open no later than 4 p.m. in the afternoon. They said traditionally the folks on their car shows usually start leaving around 2:30. So the streets won't be closed as long as we thought they were. And I also have spoken with the Sig Rides car show to discuss, as I mentioned in the earlier previous meeting, about potentially moving theirs to a later date, and they are open to that suggestion. So it could be just for this year that we have the 3 closures in the month of July. After that, we will space them out better.
So my question is, do the business owners on Main Street know about this closure yet?
Yes,
They all know and they're all good.
I haven't had no responses since.
Okay, that doesn't mean that they're all good if we've had no response. We need to reach out and talk to those business owners. So I think before we decide to roll this out, we need to hear from the business owners because this will be the third closure for them. So I think just out of respect, we need to talk to them.
Well, that's why we did send out the letters through the existing file or the special event policy. And so letters were sent out, they were given a deadline in order to contact us should they have any questions or concerns.
Okay, other comments? Any further comments, counselors? Well, I'll just say something because I was one of those business owners that never got the letter. I didn't know about this. I mean, there were some things I was concerned about, but I have been working with staff and have expressed that to staff. And I take the mayor's point. It's 3 times in July. I think this is something we should actually take a look at in our road closure policy. We just passed that. And this is, I would say, a bit of it should be something that's said, like, how many times will we close it and under what circumstances? Because we didn't actually say that. We said, here's a policy, but you know, how it gets spaced and how and for how long and what's the impact. This is a bit of an experiment, certainly this year. Like, we don't really know how this is gonna go and what the impact's gonna be. So yeah, there was definitely concern even on my part, and I know other businesses' part. So I do question whether people did get those letters, because I had a couple of discussions and I know they didn't. That being said, I mean, it looks reasonable in terms of when it's gonna get opened. And I know you guys have done a lot of work on this and you know, I want to support it too. I think it does look good for the community. I just think that what we have to do after, so this doesn't get held up, is to really take a look at how this worked this year. And I think send out some surveys and others and get that feedback. So yeah, Councillor Evans and then Councillor Bushel.
Sure, I guess just a question, if I may, through the chair, to Jamie. Jamie, is there a way that it would work if this went through to open the road back up at 4 p.m.?
The road hockey tournament?
Like, I don't know how long the road hockey tournament goes or the scheduled events for that day, so I'm just asking the question of, because you said 6 o'clock, so I was wondering.
By 5.
Okay.
The road will be open by 5. Our event, because with us moving things back into the 200 Main Street park in that area there by the healthcare center, that will then pull people off the street and everything can go back into that grassy area. And that is what we've traditionally done in the past when we were having all of our events on Main Street. We had a road back open no later than 5 o'clock. All the festivities that were taking part in that 200 Main Street space still continued on at that point in time. We're not trying to hurt any businesses, and that's why, like I said, we really condensed. When we used to do the road hockey tournament, we would actually close the street right from Riverside Avenue right up to Shuswap Avenue. We're really trying to condense that to be mindful of the businesses along Main Street. We also are going to be putting out parking information as well through Camden, myself through social media aspects. I will be reaching out to all the teams that are coming for the road hockey thing to make sure that they're very clear as to where they're parked, because we also don't want those people who are coming down all day to play the road hockey tournament parking in front of all those businesses. We want to direct them out to park at the high school, park at our parking lot here, park at the post office, park at the south or the west side parking lot of the healthcare center. So we'll be very strategic again, just like we talked about the car show, making sure that those businesses aren't impacted any more than they absolutely have to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quick follow-up then, and just as an addendum to that, and then the evening activities are at Finlayson Park this year, is that right? Oh, they're not, okay.
The fireworks still go off at Beach Park as planned, as
Okay.
long as we're not under any provincial orders to say otherwise.
Gotcha, okay, let's just clarify that, thank you.
Councillor Bushel.
Yeah, through the chair, Jamie, I like what you're doing but I do understand the businesses on Main Street and the concerns. And the last vote we had for closing for the car shows, I had reservations about the second car show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, I mean, we could end up with 3 or 4 car shows that everybody wants Main Street closed. These businesses don't have a lot of time to make hay while the sun shines. So it's really important for them to be open. So yeah, I caution the amount of closures, especially like 3. So I just wanted to let you know that, you know, I like what you're doing and everything, but I understand the business owners do need to know the actual business owners and not the employees, you know, because it's the business owner's bottom line, right?
It is a little bit of a learning curve on our end, not understanding, maybe not everybody is the owner of their property, you know, thinking that they would relay that letter on to their tenants, which didn't happen. So that's why I said we do need to come back and do a little bit more of a revamp so we understand. But like I said, it was our first kick at the can with this new policy. So before we just wung it and did it before, so at least we have something in place. Now we can bring it back, like you said, after this year, see what worked, what didn't work, and then tweak the policy to make those changes.
Okay, I have Dean and then Mary Anderson.
And the intent of these new policies that we're bringing in is to have, they're not carved in stone. So as we see that things like how many should occur, as these things come forward, the idea is we just have somewhere to grow and get better. So next year when we come back, we will look at these earlier because now we have a policy in place. We'll have applications a lot earlier in the year. We're not dealing with it almost in June. This will be dealt with a long time in advance. So there's lots of opportunity to make sure that people get notices and so forth, and not in the summer getting notices about it, like way beforehand. So as Jamie has mentioned, we didn't have a policy before. So now we have a policy the council just adopted. That policy is not carved in stone. We're going to make it better over time. And the feedback we're getting from council, we're hearing that. We're going to work on that policy so that next fall we have a better policy, and when we come around to next year, early in the year, January, February, these kinds of decisions and that kind of notification is taking place at that point in time.
Mary Anderson and then Councillor McCabe.
I just want to reiterate that I know that some of these people own businesses and aren't working in them, but my ask is please check in with all of those businesses. There's only a handful of them, and let them know exactly what's going on, because the more information they have, the easier this is. If you're going to take their July 1st and shut down half of Main Street, and they had an amazing July 1st, then they've got some say in this too, right? So all I'm saying is just make sure everyone knows. Thanks.
Excellent point. Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, thank you, through the chair. I'm just wondering from previous closures, is there any data from the businesses? Like in my mind, and I'm not a business person, but I would think with the increased, you're blocking the road off to cars, but not to pedestrians, and there's increased foot traffic in the area. Wouldn't that increased foot traffic bring more businesses to those businesses in the closed section?
Well, I can only speak for myself on that one is we haven't had one. I mean, there hasn't been a road closure on Main Street pre-COVID. It's quite some time. And that's what I did mention. It is a bit of an experiment this year. Like I think that's probably where business owners are thinking we don't, maybe, yeah, one, it could be the other, right? Sorry, I thought I would just answer because I clearly have a business there, but Dean, did you want to add something to that?
That's actually very true. So we haven't had a lot of data because we haven't had a lot of this sort of opportunity come forward. So like I said, we're going to monitor it, we're going to evaluate it, and then we're going to improve. So that next year, the parts that are good, we'll make better. The parts that were problematic, we'll fix. And that's kind of the idea behind creating a policy and creating some direction. It's not as ad hoc, so we can actually have some information. We'll have a schedule, for a good example, so we know when all the closures are going to be, not just one at a time. And that's going to help us going forward as we get better. Key parts that we identified were the food truck piece. So we have restaurants downtown. We wanted to support those restaurants, so we're not including food trucks and so forth. So those kinds of things were thought about as far as the businesses downtown. The parking, as far as Askews and other businesses that have parking lots, ensuring that parking lots are not clogged by people for these events is really important to those. And we've made those efforts to try and address those issues. To the mayor's point, we're certainly happy to go talk to the businesses that are fronting this. This isn't a major area of road closure, and staff will go to those businesses and make sure they're fully aware and all their questions have been answered. And we'll take the map and we'll have a conversation with all those business owners.
Mary Anderson and then Councillor Evans.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Dean. I appreciate that. And to Malcolm's point, the last time we did this was, I think it was, we had a bike. I can't remember what the bike thing was called that we had on Main Street. But, and we had road hockey, but the businesses were not happy. The foot traffic that they got was not the correct foot traffic that they were looking for. So they did not do well. The last time we had I can't remember, it was the bike. I don't know. Anyway.
It was pre-COVID. Sure.
Yeah, and my other point is, and you mentioned food trucks, and no disrespect to the restaurant owners, but that's totally a different thing. Isn't part of a festival having fun downtown kind of like a food truck, hot doggy kind of fun thing? Like, we're not allowing any food trucks downtown for this event?
That is correct. The purpose was because we were trying to do the least disruption to our local businesses. We want to push those people out into the local restaurants in that area. And not to mention that since COVID has come, we very much have struggled to get food trucks. A lot of the food trucks are now stationary in the location, they don't travel, and the ones that do travel have already committed for their time to day events. And until we can prove once again that our numbers are up like it used to be, it's very hard for me to convince a food truck to come in for a couple hundred people down at the beach park that they've seen the last couple of years.
Councillor Evans?
Thanks. Yeah, I do like it that the road's open by 5 p.m. And I also want to reiterate that I do like the very small area of Main Street that's blocked off for the row hockey, which is going to be a massive hit with families and kids. Those are just my comments. Thank you.
I have one question just on the bathroom facilities we have a beer garden, we have a concert. I'm just wondering also, did we have a chance to notify, I know it's not late, but concerts around that area, it's been a long time since we had a concert around that area. I imagine some of the local residents are gonna notice the volume change in that area. I'm just wondering, so I guess two questions here. Bathroom facilities, that's important. And then have we told local residents there that they should expect, I guess, a concert from, what is it, 6 to 8:30, or is it all day?
There'll be music on the stage all day, but it won't be, it's not like a big rock and roll type of thing.
Okay.
And we are within the Good Neighbor bylaw. Our Good Neighbor bylaw starts at 9 p.m. So that's why they're shutting down at 8:30 to ensure that that's covered. And again, coming back to like we spoke before, the car show meetings, is we had hoped that the healing center was going to be open to accommodate washing facilities. Knowing that that's not the case, Daryl and I have already arranged that we will be setting up 4 porta potties, as well as there's washing facilities at the Main Street landings. We will be making sure that there are washrooms on site, so they are not going into local businesses that they use their facilities. We want them to be as respectful as we can.
Okay, and then just the other piece about, I guess we could do some communication pieces on our channels and tell people that there will be a concert that day, just so they know. Yeah, okay. Hey, any further comments or questions, concerns? Okay, I guess I'm looking for, I don't think I have a mover and seconder yet, do I? Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder for this motion. Councillor Evans. Councillor Bushel, asking one more time, any more comments? Okay, so let's call the question. All in favor? Okay, that passes. Thanks, Jamie. All right. Oh, pickup truck purchase. That the District of Sycamore Council authorized the purchase of a 2025 Ford F-150 pickup truck from Jacobson Ford for the amount not to exceed $60,400 plus GST. I have a mover, Councillor Evans. Councillor Bushel, seconder. Okay, Daryl, you want a new piece of equipment?
Sure, through the chair. Seeking council resolution to authorize previously accepted, adopted capital funded item from the budget. We're looking at a half-ton truck. We submitted 2 RFPs back to back to try to get the best pricing possible. The Jacobson price is the best. It'll come fashioned with a working canopy for the utility crew. It'll be on service calls in the evenings and through the day. So I guess anecdotally, our trucks have a life cycle of approximately 12 years, a half ton. We life cycle them, and it's not uncommon. We're into 15, 16, 17 years before we're getting rid of a lot of them. So it'll be with us for a long time.
Okay. Daryl would like his new truck. Any well, it's not Daryl's new truck. Public Works would like their new truck. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay, so I have a mover and seconder. Let's call the question. Everyone in favor? Okay, that passes. The Housing Committee Terms of Reference Amendment. Campton.
All right, yeah, this is me. So today staff are presenting for council's consideration to add 2 new members to the housing committee. So some background on why this recommendation is being made is that the first housing committee meeting of the current year was scheduled for early April, but quorum was not achieved. It was then rescheduled till mid-April, and then again, quorum was not achieved. As a result, the housing committee was unable to proceed with their meeting. So today staff is recommending that the terms of reference be amended to recognize an additional 2 committee members so that the housing committee has a better chance of achieving quorum. So in the staff report, we're recommending that 2 more community members be added to the committee so that it will be composed of 2 councillors and 4 community members. If this is supported by council, then staff will proceed with issuing a call for volunteers to get those resumes in and consider different members. And then the next housing committee meeting is scheduled for 1 p.m. on October 2nd.
Okay, questions, discussions, and Councillor Evans.
Makes sense to me. More volunteers so we can get the job done.
Mary Anderson.
Yep, I agree. Let's get this, get it out there so that we can select 2 more.
So I guess my only question would be, I thought historically we set up these committees to have 50% councillors, 50% community members for a reason, but I don't know what that is, but I thought that's how it was always supposed to kind of blend and work, but I thought that's what the standard was, but maybe there was no reason behind that.
I think there's a common practice with council committees in most communities, try and balance the political with the community. Getting participation from your community members is not always what you would hope for. So unfortunately, you can't always have enough people to be quorum unless you have a larger committee. The intent here is not to have more people from the community participate, just to have enough for that to function so that it can proceed and do their agendas.
Mary Anderson.
Yeah, thank you. Historically, we've just added a couple councillors to committees. They haven't been, we don't try to balance it. It would be like, putting a councillor on ECDEV or something, historically, we just put a couple councillors on and then we build the rest of the committee.
Okay, so do I have a mover and a seconder to make this change? I don't think I got that yet. No, so I need a mover, Councillor McCabe, Councillor Evans. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, all in favor?
Yep.
And that passes. All right, development permit number 25 DP 003 102 Martin Street 902 Riverside.
Excuse me, Chair,
Yes.
I'm in conflict of this, but I'm not gonna go stand in the hall. So do you want me? I'll just shut my video off.
Yes, that'd be just fine. Thank you. Okay, so I'll just read the recommendation that the District of Sicamous authorize issuance of a water course development permit number 25 DP 003 for the subject properties located at 102 Martin Street and 902 Riverside, and that the permit be issued contingent on provincial confirmation that the riparian areas protection regulation assessment report prepared by Western Water Associates Limited dated March 2nd, 2025, version 5, meets the standards of the riparian areas protection regulations. Can I have a mover? Counselor Evans, Counselor Bushel. Okay, take it away.
Okay, thank you through the chair. Just a few slides for tonight on the watercourse development permit. Okay, so the proposal in front of us should look familiar. This is a 23 lot bare land strata subdivision at 102 Martin and 902 Riverside. A water course development permit is required under our OCP because the subdivision is within 30 meters of the channel. And this is, sorry, Bianca, this is just a current drawing of what the proposal looks like. We've got a walkway in there that's required under the OCP. And then I've marked out the 15-meter SPIA. The next slide. Okay, so the report itself, it's been prepared by Western Water Associates Limited, hired by the owner. It contemplates the subdivision in front of us. Some environmental monitoring and construction is recommended, and a post-construction plan submitted to the province. In this case, the province hasn't yet that it meets the standards of wrapper, but this is version 5 that the owner's QEP has submitted to the province, and they're very confident that this version will be finally supported by the province. And so in anticipation, that's why we have on the next slide 2 recommendations. One, to authorize issuance of the watercourse development permit. And then the second, as soon as we get that endorsement from the province, which is coming soon.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Council.
The chair, Nicole, has the province been pretty active in returning or, turning these applications around? I know they were extended, sometime it took them a long time to get them back approved. So
Yeah.
how long would this hold up the subdivision?
Through the chair, like, how long will the most recent submission be? I don't know, but in the previous submissions, so this is version 5, so version 4, version 3, it's been about a month turnaround.
Okay.
Further comment, you heard a little bit this morning about the OCP updates we're looking at. So these are the components of development permits that we're hoping to bring in through our OCP to a staff, so we don't actually have to go through the official process. Staff and then council would endorse us to actually, so there'd be a staff level DP. You wouldn't be required to come to council. These are technical development permits that really shouldn't be a technical consideration by council. The form and character of those types of DPs definitely should be with council. But components that are technical, environmental, natural hazard, those are technical reports established by professionals. There isn't really an evaluation that council should make on them. So we'd like to see them eventually delegated to staff. And further from that, to have through the OCP, the authority to actually issue these permits without having to go through the province's process. We essentially create the province's process equivalent within our OCP so that we can issue a DP under the city or district's regulations without having to go through the provincial process, which can be a significant time saver.
Councillor Evans.
Thumbs up.
I just have something to say on this. I mean, we've seen this unfortunate application back for so many different votes here at council, and I know this is a frustrating, well, particularly frustrating for me. I can't imagine how the applicant's feeling. And it's been slow. It's something that I think we have to continue to be pushing against the province on, is the length and time that this takes. And this is something that's going to help develop our main, our Riverside. It's been something we've been working on, I think, going on 18 months now, or at least a year. But this is provincial regulations that we have to follow. But I think in OCP, having an opportunity to streamline as much as we possibly can is going to be a really good thing. So any further comments or questions on this, council? Oh, okay. So yeah, do I have it? I did have one. Perfect. Okay, so all in favor? Okay, that passes. There's no notices of motions, there's no resolutions. Oh, right.
Just turn your mic back on.
I could maybe text her. Yeah,
Oh, there she is.
perfect. Okay, wonderful. Okay, we're on to correspondence for information. Anybody have anything they'd like to discuss in the correspondence package? Okay, seeing none. Going on to committee and regional district reports. Anybody have anything you'd like to discuss in those reports? Okay. The CSRD, regular board meeting minutes. Anybody have anything there they would like to discuss? Okay. Seeing none, we are going on to public input period. So we have 15 minutes for this, and maybe I'll ask if anybody in the gallery has anything they'd like to address council on. Yeah, Brian, just stand up the microphone and. And if you could just state your name, just so we have that for the record, thanks.
Right, library 101 Old Town Road. Mr. Chairman, council members, staff. I'm here because I found out last Friday that there's going to be a quarry on Old Town Road. It used to be on the property previously owned by Murray Hilson. And I think there's 3 council members that were party to that discussion and eventually voted to turn down any further development on that piece of property. So what I've got, I just snatched some photos on the way over there, just so those of you that don't know the property, there's 3 brand new houses along Old Town Road. And right below where this quarry is going to be. And then this is a picture from the west side of the property looking up, and it's that road that, or that bare spot you can see right in here is a 12% grade, and when we talked to our department about 10-12 years ago, they said they wouldn't go up there because it was above their 8%. Go ahead. That's the entrance to it. And there's the sign that was posted on Friday. Go ahead. Now this says that Kylos have the permit. And I know they're an influential family in this community. But I'm not sure that anything has changed since 10 or 12 years ago, and that Sycamore really doesn't want a scar, a big scar on East Mountain for everybody that's coming from the west, east, or the south to see. And I think most of the people in the gallery here are residents along Old Town, and that's right here today. And I guess I just took the opportunity because I knew what went on before. And I'd like council to take serious consideration in trying to do anything to stop that. I'm not against businesses, but I just think it's going to be a scar for cities. Any questions?
Well, we're just public input, so we can, maybe let's go through, see if there's other people that want to have a chance for public input, and then can go from there. I saw someone online. Okay, Deb, why don't you go ahead? Okay.
There she is.
Okay.
So Deb, you're live.
She's on mute.
There, I'm not muted now, I think. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that we had our first farmers market on Friday, and it was fabulous. So It's looking good going forward, but I just thought it would be good to give you guys an update that everything went well. The weather gods were with us, and it went well. And then, if you don't mind, I also just wanted to a bit of feedback. I love the fact, I know that there's issues to be dealt with, and that I know that you guys will deal with them sensitively as far as businesses and Main Street closures. But I think the more that we can have Main Street open up to public walking traffic and have more events down there, like I'm seeing it with the farmers market, it brings people downtown. I think that the more we can do it, it's great. Jamie, what I'm seeing there is that, you know, the businesses aren't even really impacted the way, you know, the section chief got shut down. And the more we can do stuff downtown, I just think it's good for the community. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Further comments? Anybody is more than welcome. Yeah, please just go to the microphone and just mention your, just state your name. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, councilors. I live on 70 Old Town Road, and I'm building that new house there. And before we started to build, we came down to the office here because we heard rumors that there was a quarry. We looked at that point, and I was told by everyone here that that quarry was not going through. And none of that land was gonna be disturbed. And we wouldn't have bought that property or carried on with the construction that we have had we known that this was gonna happen. So this is a real shock to me. And it's quite disturbing that all of a sudden it just, like a sign comes up and 2 days later, everybody's going like, what's going on? And so I'm not sure, and I'm concerned that we weren't notified or anything was brought up prior to this happening, like any warning of anything. Like we had no say in the matter. It just all of a sudden this sign comes up, says he's got a permit, he's gonna be blasting. The sign doesn't make any sense anyways, because it has stuff on there that I don't believe you can blast without warning people. I don't even know if you can blast on that hill. My geotech told me when we did the build that they cannot disturb anything above me because the ground is not stable. And there's large rock and everything on the hillside. And we're gonna be all in jeopardy if he starts messing around up there, because that rock, the only way it can go is downhill, and we're all in the line of that. And it's fairly steep. Anyways, is there any way that we will know what's going on in the future here, like in the near future? Because it's sort of a shock. Does anybody here know anything about it? What's going on?
Yeah, Dean, please go ahead.
So these licenses are issued by the province. So staff can be directed by council to get a copy of the permit and have more information. But these are not issued by the district. They're issued by the province. So we can have a review of what's been approved by the province and what's permitted, but we're not necessarily always a part of that process. It's approved by the province.
Okay, so where do we stand as living here, where do we stand on the ability to know what's going on? Like the province just can let somebody come in and put a quarry in?
There is an application process, and understand it took place quite a few years ago, and I got to look into more of that file. I wasn't with the district, I've been with the district for 3 months, so I'd have to find out when that was done, what input was included. I understand there was input from the district and from the public at that time. What that resulted in as far as what's been permitted, I don't know at this point in time. So council could direct staff to do that. We would go and find out what the permit is, what the details of it, so that we have more information. Certainly can share that information with the public. There are requirements around blasting as far as through WorkSafe and notifications if that were to occur, if a permit was to be incurred. What I've seen so far, it's a notification of developing, not a detailed information on blasting at this point in time.
Councillor McKay, you had your.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you through the chair. Couple of questions. Dean sort of answered it. Were we part of the referral process of issuing that permit? Were we part of that referral process? And just a thought, I don't really support an active quarry in that location. And if council was of the same opinion, I wonder if there's different ways to stop it than even if the province issues a permit, could we not restrict commercial traffic put load restrictions on Old Town Road? So they couldn't haul out of the quarry, even if there is a quarry?
We have legal obligations to the province to not prevent access to a property. So we wouldn't be able to proceed with preventing a provincial license from being activated and moved upon. As far as load restrictions, we can provide load restrictions as far as costs associated with damage that might be done. But as far as restricting our public roadways for a particular user, we can't do that.
Okay, let me just ask, like, this is quite unusual. In about 3 years, I've never seen an issue like this come forward without, I think a lot of people are just finding this out today, myself included. So I do want to give everybody, I know there's quite a few of you in the gallery. This is public comments, so I want to make sure you guys have the chance first and then we can go. So Mayor, do you want to just comment? Then I can see who else wants to.
Yeah, I would just like to make this comment that this is left with staff and we just get some more information on it, because right now none of us know what it is. So let's just get some more information before we spend time dissecting it and thinking about what we're going to do and we don't know what it is. That's just my comment.
Okay. Just so anybody else in the gallery that, yep, absolutely. Just come to the microphone and state your name.
Hello, my name is Ethan Stokel. I live at 70 Old Town Road. I'm a new young homeowner. I chose Sycamoose for the community. My wife and I both work in public service, and we took a big risk building our own home on that road, but we saw the beauty of what that is and what Sycamoose represents. I'd have to agree there has been no consultation of any kind. Homeowners, members that I know of myself, and I find that deeply. So I took a risk, and I am very vocal in my practice to encourage others, young families, to call Sycamoose home and to wake up these time. Destroy what I call home. The nature, the community members. I know this is new to everybody and I'm very grateful for your time. I'm emotional because I call this my home. And I don't want to see my home destroyed. So many families are taking a chance. And rightfully so, because Sycamoose is amazing. And I continue to cheer that from the mountaintops, quite literally in this case. And I would hate to see bureaucracy at the highest level take that away from young homeowners like myself and the opportunity to call this place home. I would like to encourage everybody to take any opportunity to correct this measure, challenge this measure, and stand up for what's right. I see so many families here and so many more that couldn't make it because they're out of town, they're working. But the camaraderie that's come from this really does show me the impact, the negative impact that this is causing strife, that this is causing our home with no consultation. And I'd like to echo what Steve had to say. Because I too heard rumors, I too read Eagle Valley News, I think it was in 2017, referring to the same gentleman that Brian mentioned. Forgive me for if I don't correct his name, is Hillsman or Murray Hillsman. Murray Hillsman. Saying, I read the article. I came and I came to council. And I was reassured that this chapter would be closed in this community. And here we are again, all too soon. I know this may be a provincial ministry of mines, I can appreciate that, but as a community, as a young family, we need to do what's right.
Honestly, worthless.
Our community will be destroyed. Well, I drive home from work, working in community, and I see our mountain, our beautiful mountain, as I drive on Highway 1. I was brought to tears today. As I pictured what could be this scar, as Brian mentioned, across our landscape. And what that impact may be even on our Indigenous peoples that call this place, that we have the privilege to call our home. I'd like to thank you all for your time. Apologies for some of my emotion. This is a very heavy subject for me and my family and our community as a whole. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, council. Council appreciates it. That's what this, well, just 1 second, Todd. I just want, like, we appreciate this is the public discussion period. So, yep, Todd, please just state your name and.
So basically, it's private property. It's 17 acres. The quarry permit was taken out in 2004, I believe, and it's still valid today. There's still some more work before we decide what we're doing with it, but it's private property. If we don't make it into a quarry, it's gonna be housing. It's gonna be some. We're not just gonna leave it. The property was for sale for several years before we bought it. So everybody here had the opportunity to buy it just as we did. And it's zoned for residential, and then there's a park going towards from it towards Sycamoose on the other side. So I'm not really sure what we're gonna do with it yet. It does have a quarry permit, and we have to post that quarry permit as per the mine regulations, and that's what we did. Murray Hillsman didn't really follow those regulations. So we posted it and we haven't decided to do any more with it, so we're not sure what we're doing. But you know, we're gonna do something. It's not gonna stay treed in the hill. It's no different than all the house owners below it dug out their hill to build their houses. So they bought those lots and did the same, and we plan on doing the same for that. It's gonna happen.
Okay, thanks for those comments.
If I could make a comment on the town property.
Sure, yeah.
So the RAPA report went in 2023. As Nicole's mentioned, we've had 5 revisions. 5 revisions on tree planting. So they wanted trees where the pub was, where there was no trees. Now I've taken that pub down. So my QP has put in 5 plans for tree planting. And they turned them all down. So it's kind of a QEP fight QEP. The other thing is it's a 15-meter setback. So I'm not sure why our OCP says 30, but anywhere on the river, around the lake is a 15-meter setback by DFO. And on a river, it's 30 meters. So, you know, it's really, we're not building in the riparian area. And I'm not sure why we're gonna hold up a subdivision that's outside of a riparian area for a RAPA report. So I just want to give that some thought, and I'm sure it's coming in the next couple of weeks. But like I said, it's been 2.5 years for some trees that never existed prior to when the pub was there. And for all house owners on Old Town, we'll be in touch with everybody. We're not doing anything right away. Nothing's happening tomorrow. We got to give it some time.
Happens 5 years from now.
Okay, but let's,
Something will happen, but.
let's just keep it public comment. So are you finished your public comments? Okay, all right, no problem. And please, ma'am, just go to the microphone, just state your name and feel free to tell council what's on your mind.
Diana Johnson. And I'm really upset with it because, okay, you guys are saying it's ministry, my ministry, right?
Correct, I believe.
So none of you can even help us or give us any suggestions of how we can work out. Can you, any of you people drive down Old Town Road, you guys know where the houses are? Have you guys looked at the steepness of the mountain? Have you guys gone up the little trail going back and forth, the switchback? Have you tried those ones? And that, well, somebody at a large piece of mountain, I found out at the top of it, and killed several homeowners, like 3 of them, 2 trailers, 1 house. My son lives in there. And, you know, and then you're gonna clear the land of the trees and whatever, and then we're gonna have these monsoon rains that we have, or mudslides that wash us all down. You come around to my driveway and I'll show you the big boulders that come from under the ground in our place. They're massive. So what happens with one of those when it's straight down and hits another road and it bounces down like a ball? Where's that crop gonna go? You know, how would you feel if your house is sitting there and you gotta look straight up there when you're blasting and wonder what's gonna come down? Because we can blast. Everybody runs. We can't. You know, we're the ones that are gonna get hurt. We're the ones that can't even sell our property because of the sign. And, you know, these people that have all this money to spend everywhere and take things and think, oh, it's just nothing, but don't worry about it. Nothing's happening right now because we don't know where we're doing it. We might build a little house, maybe, you know, tear down the top, whatever. That's just snowballing. That's just snowballing. It's really not the truth. So that's why I say, if you guys could just come up to our Old Town Road, look at what we have. And if it was down further by Twin Acres, there's no homes there. There's only his company. Right? So just help us in some ways, if you guys put your heads together and tell us how we can work with it, with the government. That's what I'm asking.
Oh,
Just come down for a ride.
so I think what you're hearing from people too today is that this is new information. I think it's new information to council as well. So I don't want to jump to conclusion. But it's excellent. It's really good that you're here and voicing these concerns because that's exactly what this is for. And I think a lot of council has heard you.
It's Friday evening that I know. We're all voting for the weekend. So a lot of people are out like on holidays and whatever, or they're working nights. So how do you look at this stupid little sign that's got several mistakes on it to say, there's no control on blasting. They don't have to alarm us when they're gonna blast. That's what it all says on that line. So that's like a line that sits up there with nobody down below. So that makes sense. We don't have to tell anybody because nobody lives there, but we live there. I'm afraid of it. I've seen Chilliwack Mountain that was shifting because of blasting and plus logging, and they tore down several homes, and those were big, huge monster homes, were, you know, the highest equity homes, like 7,000 square feet, whatever. And my son lived in one where the windows were just twisty. And you know, you guys, anyways, I just wish you guys would help us, okay?
Okay. And again, I think everyone appreciates all the feedback and all the comments tonight. And this is something I think new that's emerged today, at least to a lot of the council's knowledge. So again, we're in public feedback, public discussion. So I'm going to make just another call for anybody else who wants to come to the mic and discuss any issue that is affecting you. If it's on the same topic, feel free. So I'll just give everyone a chance here. Yeah, Councillor, McCabe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the proper process, but am I able to put a motion forward and get it seconded? Hopefully that we direct staff to look into this permit and where we part of referral process and report back to council.
So first we should complete the public input component and then council can deliberate.
Yeah. So then that's what we'll do. So we'll, I just want to make sure, is there anybody online or no, nobody's online? Okay, again, I just want to, not putting anyone on the spot. I just want to make sure you feel very comfortable to stand up if you wish to make any further comments. If not, we'll close yep, please, sir, just go to the mic and just state your name and what you'd like to say to council.
David Cornish. I live at 22 Hometown Road. I've been following this development issues since 2005 or earlier. It was stated that the permit had been there since 2004. There may have been some permit there, but I don't know why Murray Hilson would have been applying for a permit in the last few years if that was the case. As far as I understand, that permit was granted then, which was at least a decade after 2004. So that may be an error, although I could be corrected on that. I also wanted to point out, it was mentioned earlier that the property adjacent to the quarry is a park or park reserve. I'm not exactly sure what the quarry is zoned as or for, or was proposed to be by the town, but I know that it was in conflict with it being a quarry, which was why most of the council and the mayor at the time, Mayor Rice, was opposed to the quarry that Murray Hilson was proposing the application. And from what I understand, the application with amendments and restrictions was granted by the Ministry of Mines, despite the town's objections and residences. In reference to the park reserve, that land was donated to the town by our former MLA, George Abbott. And I just see the situation now where they have a property that's adjacent to it, and that would be, to my idea, that would be a good purpose, would be for former politicians from this community. George Abbott set a really good example by donating that piece of property to be a park. Very honorable, and there is that opportunity. I would suggest now to donate a piece of property owned by former politicians that represented people from Sicamous, both provincially and in the civic municipally. That the land could be donated to the town to add to the park reserve. The mining permit could be expunged by the owner. That's all I have to say, I guess, for now.
Thank you very much. So I'll just ask one more time, if there's any further public comment. Okay, seeing none, we'll end the public discussion period. I guess at this point, Councillor McCabe, you had something that you wanted to put forward?
Yeah, just like to make a motion that we direct staff to look into the issuance of the permit by the province, and were we a referral process and report back to council.
Okay. Yeah, Dean.
Just a minor amendment to it, that you recommend the staff investigate and report back to council on the permit and not a specific component of it, because we really don't know enough about it to take that direction. So just if we could allow us to pull the permit, review it, see what the components are, and then just ask the staff report back to council.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that? Okay. Sorry, Councillor Bushel, second. Any discussion on this further? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. So how did you want to bring that forward again? It's just going to be, just because I imagine some folks are obviously interested in what we're going to find out.
Yeah, so there'll be a report to council that will be on a public agenda. It will likely be in June that comes forward to council. Once we have more information and can actually provide that information to council, it'll come forward.
Okay, yeah, and that's obviously a public meeting and every meeting that we have, there is a 15-minute. I mean, we have it as 15 minutes, but if it takes longer, it takes longer, where any resident of Sycamoose can come forward and discuss any issues. So much like you did tonight, and thank you for that. This is how democracy works, and it's important that you guys have an opportunity to bring these issues forward. So I think everyone appreciates that. Thank you again. So that brings us to adjournment. I need a motion to adjourn. Counselor Evans, Counselor Bushel, so we're gonna adjourn at 6:10. All in favor? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mary Anson. Have a great conference.
Hey, see you later.